Okay. What else do we have, Jimmy?
Yeah, so I know that on I guess it was maybe the last episode or maybe the last two, we talked about a couple of different topics. One was Canvas, which is the part of the new UI of ChatGPT. Um, so I'd like to actually demonstrate it, and just a kind of quick reminder of folks. So this was something that is a new feature of ChatGPT, and it's really about how you as a user interact with it. And it's called Canvas. It spawns off a separate workspace for writing and coding. It basically makes an interactive feel for working with the output. And I can tell you, I'm a paid user, which, by the way, you need to be a paid user right now because this is still beta. So if you're, got the free version of ChatGPT, you're not going to see this yet. But it basically allows a user to interact with the output. And I use it a lot previously, ChatGPT, to do development of code. And if you've ever done that, you had to scroll up, where was I? What was the last version? Canvas actually rewrites things in a separate side-by-side window. So probably best for me to just show it. So that's what I want to do. So let me share out my screen, and I'll take you on a quick little tour.
So Canvas is great. Actually, I love that. This demo would be great.
So I'm in my ChatGPT, and like I mentioned, I've got my own paid version. So if you're not on that paid version, you're going to see just like the regular ChatGPT-4. It defaults to that model, but you see something that says ChatGPT-4o with Canvas. This should literally be your default mode if you have it. There's no reason not to use Canvas. What I found interesting is that ChatGPT will automatically flip over into Canvas mode, like actually showing the side by side, depending upon what you're asking of it. You could also force it to go into Canvas mode. I have a couple of prompts, so I'm just not going to type all this stuff. But if I say, open a canvas for coding, it will actually start that. So it's opening up a coding workspace and then allows me to work in this canvas. I'm just going to start a new one. So here's an example. And these are straight off of the OpenAI website. So you could use that. So write a React application that has a login and a password, then a web page with a menu suitable for online shopping. Actually, this one's not on the OpenAI site. I just actually created this my own. So what you can see here is it not only is it building the application, right? So there's my code, but I have now, there's a couple of things I want to point out here. There's these widgets, and it's different if I'm doing code-based and or if I'm doing writing-based things. So here's one that I love, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to love this as well. I could tell it to add comments. So just by quickly creating or clicking on this button, you're going to go off and actually add comments into it. Now, what you notice what it's doing, it's not, writing another series of code, and I would have had to scroll up. It's actually doing it in line. Now, what's also important here is this is editable. So I could, write in my own comments or do whatever code I want directly in line. Obviously that doesn't make any sense for what I'm doing, but I'm just adding a comment into that. But I can directly edit over this information, and then it recognizes and understands that. Same token, I have this interface. I could say, make a new function to calculate total sales tax. So it'll go off and try to figure that. And again, what you're noticing here, it's just redoing or recreating the code for me, and then it's building it up, and it just created that new function. There's other things in here too. I could add logs. I could fix bugs. So these are going to be things. It's basically almost like a starter prompt, but it's going in and aligning to what I have here. And then I could port to a different language and then do a code review. So this will actually review my code. So this is just a great interface. Now, probably people are thinking this kind of looks like Claude artifacts. Not exactly the same. It's this notion of side by side. I would, some people say, well, this is stealing from Anthropic and Claude and its artifacts. Actually, not. I mean, you could go back and think about some of the early things that OpenAI had put in to building GPTs. You had this like side by side window. So the other thing too is the Claude artifacts does things differently. They actually have a way of actually running the code inside of the environment. So different scenarios, different uses. I'm going to go and create a new chat just to show you a scenario where it's based upon writing. So I'm going to use this one. Write me a blog post about why a strawberry is a pseudocarp. And I had no idea what a pseudocarp was until I actually ran this. So again, here's that side by side. It's creating the blog post for me. And again, once this comes back, I can interact and tell it to change things. But this is a full editor. Let's say if I didn't like that, and I added my own words here. Again, I'm just updating it directly. Now, if I tell it to, here's a great example. I could say, well, what's the reading level that I want? Well, right now it's in the middle. But if I said, well, this should be college level reading, and it goes and execute it, it'll change all of this wording for me and doing it at a different, quote unquote grade level or reading level. So again, I go back to, these are sort of like starter prompts. Yeah, I could have done the same thing in here just by saying, change this to be a college level or high school level reader, but I have these widgets, and then suggest edits. This will go off and suggest edits into this, where I kind of equate this to like Word when I'm thinking about a comments in Word and someone makes, well, here's the suggested edits. And I can look at, well, what does ChatGPT think should be changed? Here's that suggested edit. And I can say apply, and then it automatically applies it to that one section. And again, you can see how it's doing this. It's rewriting it in line for what's already there. So much more user friendly. I love this new interface. So that's the Canvas real quick.